That's right. Welcome to the last LinkedIn Power Lab webinar for this year. The topic today is LinkedIn Visual Excellence, because I recognize that there are many people, mainly content creators with large following, who show us that visuals are actually one way to be highly convincing. The only downside for particular small businesses, for entrepreneurs, is that it sometimes feels it requires a lot of equipment, as you can see on this photo, but not necessarily the case. So I run these webinar series in the meantime, actually since a bit before COVID, early 2020. And the way how it runs goes like this. We start by just introducing. So I'm happy that every webinar we have also new faces who didn't join yet so far. So that's very good. I like this. Hi, Tom Wayne and Herinda, but we also have those which are very often joining, like Olin, and also recently joining more often, like Jonathan and Karen. Thank you for that. And everyone else on the recording. Hello. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Gunnar. I'm a social media consultant. I'm blogging about social selling for 260 odd weeks in a row, pretty much 5 years. I created 4 online courses and I published a couple of books. And actually one of those books is at the last slide. It is called Connect and Act, and that covers actually social selling and LinkedIn. And thanks for those who have it, like Wayne you just mentioned. So what I would like to cover is 3 things. Number 1, how to catch attention by having a proper profile photo. I don't take them, but I have an expert here on the call. The second one that is highly visible is the background image. And you can create it as you like. Some don't do anything about it. That is missing out on the real estate. And the third one, highly visual, is actually the content that we create, meaning the post. And that is all about how to gain engagement. And that is a highly important topic as well. I learned the sentence that we have maybe 7 seconds in a CV to find out if the person is that you would like to read further or not. In LinkedIn, it's maybe even less than 7 seconds. If you just read some content, you see quickly if you want to continue or maybe just go further. Or you watch at someone's profile and then you also very quickly realize that that makes sense to spend some time and figure out who that person is or not. And that might take a little bit. So how to find it out and how to get there. Let's start with the profile photo, and we do this a little bit in a style of an interview between Karen and myself. But first, question to all of you, and I put it in the chat. Question. So, when did you update your LinkedIn headshot photo last time? Very good question. So when was it? For me,
Ce la fai a pagare, se no ti devi vedere un mese.
12 months ago, Yolanta? Yeah, that's good. 5 years, Wayne. That's quite a while ago, but surely it's a good photo. So then, if the photo itself is great, no need to always change it. But otherwise, it's worth to occasionally do something about it. So that's what I would say, particularly when it doesn't show us in a good way. So Tom, last year as well. And yeah, you mentioned also work organizer, the work organizer photographer. That happened to my photo as well. I had a good one, but then they've done for the whole team, all in one go. So that of course was not a bad thing. But even that, when this activity happens, it could be a while ago, and then it's time to do a change, particularly for those who also change the career. So thank you for that. So now let's go a little bit further, and I would like to introduce Karen, or maybe Karen, you can introduce yourself. Only that we know, I met Karen on LinkedIn earlier this year, just after the book came out, and we recognized that we share the passion of showing ourselves on LinkedIn well. So Karen, could you please just say something about yourself in addition to what's written here?
Hi, my name is Karen, as you know, and my passion is to capture the best version of you with my camera lens And so I'm based in Sydney. So my passion is bringing out the best light in you. So I capture you as a personal brand outside the studio environment because I think it gives it much more context.
Yes, and what I also recognize, if you look on LinkedIn, people in professional services, the larger firms, think about Deloitte and those, they often have a photo which shows them in a very good light, and in the background, it doesn't show the office. It actually shows something of their surrounding, even this nature, with nice colors. And I think, Karen, you're very good in doing that as well, that you take photos somewhere at different places where you can pay attention to a background which is a little bit blurred. So that looks very nice. And you have a couple of good examples on your website. So let me share you some examples, and Karen, you might comment on that. The first one's actually about myself. Karen asked me if I could send kind of a selfie, and that's not what it should look like. So have a look at the one on the left-hand side. Karen, could you please comment the difference and why a selfie is actually not good?
Okay, so with a selfie, you've got no control over the amount of shadows and lighting that it's coming through. And you could also, when you sort of, once when there's an image, you could look, sometimes it may look as if you're holding something. So I feel, it's always better, to have someone photograph you, and then you got both your shoulders sort of more sort of stable, and that, but I believe as a photographer, then have more expertise in how you pose and where to stand, and also amount of lighting that's coming through, and they could sort of give you advice on what to wear and the type of background as well.
Good one. So, and then after the one that is basically the one here in front of just the wall.
So that
with
was
red
at
light.
Bendigo Bank. So in the
Yeah.
background was some artworks.
Exactly. So then the interesting thing also you have behind me is an angle, so that sometimes it's good to show depth in other pictures. And let me give you another example that you have just done recently as well. So here again, we have self-made and then a more proper one. So how was that experience, and how you take the photos? How you get the best out of the people?
Well, in the second photo, I captured them even though it was right in the middle of the day, but then I made sure that there was not more than enough shade, so you don't get all the harsh lighting on their features. Versus, the other one when that person had like a baseball cap, and you can see that the features aren't as visible, and you can tell that it's all done a selfie because the first half was a bit, you got some blank space, whereas this one is much more composed, and you can see that the background is much more blurred, which is what you want it to be. So the only thing you see is the face, and that's it.
Yeah. And I think even what you have done here very well, you found a background where there are some colors behind him that are repeating the color of his shirt. That's not a bad idea. That the composition actually makes sense. Good one. And what you also do, Karen, what I like, if you take photos from someone, like from him, you even post about it on LinkedIn to do a little bit like advertising. So then to show in a good
Yeah,
light.
just tag them.
Yeah, and talk about it. So that's very good. And there's surely a range of good ideas of what to pay attention to. I think what you see with both of them, I try to show confidence in the picture there in the bank, and also he shows as a confident person. That's an important topic as well. So I remember you created once even a guide where you walk through some of the ideas of your top 5 tips. So which are they?
My top 5 tips are, you got to think about what you're going to wear, the background, and also practice the poses. And also think about your facial expressions, and also think about your target audience as well. Who are the clients that you want to attract, which I think will play a big factor.
So this means ideally specialized photographer that it looks more professional compared to self-made, particularly when the
Yes.
target audience is this. But there's another one. I like the last tip from your document. I took it from there, and that is about the confidence.
And so I think it's also important just to have fun, you know, and feel confident with your photographer as well.
Yeah, that's good. Really like this. And what you also do, of course, you work on one-on-one with your clients, or even you go to companies, but also what I liked on it, that you give group sessions, let's say on a Saturday or on a Thursday, somewhere in different locations,
Yep.
where then people can just book one slot, get
Mm-hmm.
2 photos, and then move on. I think that is also a very affordable way to upgrade, particularly in the light of the next upcoming year, where many people, professional small business, change all their, or they take the chance for a change now to improve themselves these days as well. That's very good. I like
Yes,
that.
I will put the links in. If you guys are interested in having like an individual photo session.
When are you doing the next one for group photos?
That's in January around the 13th. So
Okay.
that will fall on a Saturday. So it's usually the second Saturday of the month.
Ah, good. Okay. So that
Yes.
means wherever it is, like in the CBD or wherever, then it's a chance.
Yeah, usually a central location in Sydney. So I'll just put the link in the chat now.
Super. Thank you. So headshots is that one part of it. And you know, on LinkedIn, it sits on the left-hand side. But the other part behind is the background image. So question also now to everyone. Have you created your own LinkedIn background image? With your own, what I mean with that is that you don't take what your company gives you. Because that is sometimes, let's say, when I worked at Hootsuite, there's in the first part, my first 2.5 years, not now, but the first time, I simply took what was given. When I worked at HP, well, that's when I started with LinkedIn, I took something with their logo on that. It feels like I'm part of the corporation, but it could be different. So Yolanda, you have your own background. That's good. I also created my own in Canva. Tom, yes, your photo from when you worked in remote Australia. That might be interesting. I need to look at it. Good idea. So then we all, particularly when we are small businesses, we have more decision power to decide what we can do compared to working in financial services firms. I get that, but there's a couple of ideas what we can do. Yeah, Karen, you use the Canva template, and that's exactly where I would like to get to. So let me show you some examples. The first example that I don't show, but we can imagine, is nothing. It's gray. That's it. Empty. Not good. So it simply shows we don't care about how everything looks like, but everyone else, 85% have an image. So I don't show that because it's obvious the gray area. The other one, people simply take a photo and upload this. So here's an example from Ulrike Stracker. She became the Generalkonsul in Austrian German in here for Australia and the Trade Commissioner. And the first thing what she has done is to take a picture from here with the Harbour Bridge. Exactly. The tricky thing is always if something on this image is important on the left-hand side, it's not visible because it's overlaid by the by that profile photo. So you always need to have that have attention to this one. But for the bridge, it works well, and she is in her organization bridging Austria and Australia. So therefore, it's a good chosen topic there. So that's one way to do it. And I think, Tom, yours goes in a similar direction. So thanks for showing your profile URL. So that's good. Then the other next opportunity to get it into the next level, let me show you an executive coach that is Duncan Fish, and who created this already 5 years ago before many people would do that. So he used, not sure if it was Canva at the time, but any tool where he took the logo from his own firm, the Engaging Executive, on the top left, knowing that his image is below there. Then a photo of him presenting or teaching or coaching, which really shows him in the light that you see what he is doing. And that exactly is where images and videos can be good about. And then in the middle, he has that part of his book called Engage, which is the essence of it, where he says people can have technical skills, they have people skills, and the middle in between, that is where somebody can become an engaging executive. So this model is what his coaching is all about. And I think he played that well. That is basically covers in 3 elements: logo on the top left, the essence in the middle, and then on the right hand, a picture of him. If you would look him up on the mobile phone, then you would potentially see him so that it's and just do this. I haven't seen him for a while on the mobile, because then it is most likely that the image of himself in older days would have been in the middle. Today it's more to the left, but on mobile, because the screen resolution is smaller, it is more likely towards the middle. So you really made it well that this middle piece is fully visible. That's good. The proportions of this image are 4:1, so 4 times longer than its height. So you need to pay attention if you take any normal photo, that it's not a normal resolution. Normal photos on smartphones are 4:3, on professional cameras 3:2, but we need 4:1. So therefore, that only is the essence. And it's easy to do this in Canva. There are templates for this one. And let me show you one of those masters who is really doing this well. So that is Ubaid. He is from Pakistan. When I met him half year ago, a bit longer, he had maybe only 5,000 followers. So he's really growing a lot. And one of those visual strategies. And he takes this one as real estate. No image, but purely messaging that is clearly visible. And even the background of his image is the same thing. What you see here, he has a promise: transforming boring profiles into exciting LinkedIn brands and beyond. Obviously, that's what he does. Then 5 things that go on it. In 40 days is a promise. And on the bottom right of this red image, you can see the bell and an arrow which says, click on the bell, because then, obviously, his content is more visible. And there's 3 small screenshots from happy customers whom he helped, and that he copied on the top left. Best way to utilize a real estate. Some people would put there the phone number. I've seen this with mortgage brokers, but that's the phone number itself. You can put in the contact info, but rather take it as a messaging. That would be good. In terms of visuals, you also see something. Let me go back to the first one from Ulrike. That's a regular profile. You see the name, you can see the headline below, and the location, and of course, common connection and so on. Duncan, similar way, he could upgrade himself towards what's called the creator mode. The creator mode is adding this gray line, talks about, and then up to 5 hashtags. Not a bad thing. With the creator mode, it means that those topics that we follow, the content that we create in that area, is visible here. It's more updated, this type of profile. Therefore, it's good. And anyone can do it as long as they have 150 followers, what we all have, or most of us. So then it's easy actually to get, and it helps for many things regarding content. He even writes design therapies and 170 happy clients. That's a bit bragging, but I know some who use the services. So LinkedIn visuals is the photo, like what Karen mentioned, and are these images. And the way how to create them, the first step, you would just take a photo, like Tom, what you mentioned. But the alternative for this one is to simply say, retake and create something in Canva. Canva.com, create, find new image, and then say, I take that. I didn't put a slide exactly on it, but maybe I can do it on the slides when I share them further. It's pretty easy actually, but you need to have your mind about it. What Ubaid does well, he pays attention to his main color that goes across everything that he does. And there it shows that small businesses, small business leaders, solopreneurs, they have all in their hand and can do it. As long as you're in a corporation, you cannot really do too much by yourself, but you can ask, check your social media policy, have different type of versions, and still show what you can do. If you look mine, for example, didn't put it in the slides, but on mine, I have my personal colors, another image of myself on the right-hand side, and some of the keywords about what I'm doing. So therefore, it's always a way to play with that. Yeah. Make sense? Anyone changing for 2024, the background image? I think yes. Makes sense to do. The third area where we can add visual excellence are our posts when we are writing. Lovely typewriter here. So, question. When did you use visual elements in your post recently? I've done it today. I took the image which I used for the presentation today. I mean, that one, with background here. I use this without the box as part of my post. And people say a post with an image has often a bit more. So when did anyone else use images? I mean, Karen, you did, obviously.
Yes.
But I think many of others would have done a similar way, because it's quite helpful. I think so. So, yeah, Karen, you did. Tom, you reposted. By the way, there's two ways how we can repost. Number one, repost without anything. Yeah, don't add anything to it. Then all of the statistics about how many likes and comments are shown by the original post. So if you would take mine, forward it to your audience, repost it without anything else, then the numbers like likes and comments are mine. But if you do it and you add something to it, what Karen did today from this webinar, then the numbers there are shown for hers. And obviously, often we see something which appeals to us. We like it. And then we say, good, that's fine. We can take that and share it with others. But doing it by ourselves, that is a bit of work. And Jolanta, you do this very well. I really like them because you add often a piece of wisdom in a visual way, 2 lines maybe, and then you add more in the post itself. So let's go through visual elements, how to get there and how not. When I started posting more, that was 5.5 years ago, I didn't really follow a structure in terms of how the sentences look like. You can see on this post, 3 lines and then 4 lines, but nothing really stood out. If I really now look, I see that there's even a day on it, 23rd of May, but it could be different, could stand out like a call to action. Text is also a visual component. Adding a lot of free lines actually makes sense. And if you see the photo that I've taken there from a training at the New South Wales Business Chamber, it's not even good. And the person speaking with the white shirt, Nick Rorris, he's not even visible. Bad place, not a good post. So no best practice format, anything like this, missed chance to start conversations. If we add visuals, it gets better. So let me show another example. A storytelling post from us. I attended an event from HubSpot. While sitting there, while listening, I took my notes straight into a LinkedIn post. Today I would use an app like Evernote or anything where I put my notes on it, but I posted straight away. And as soon as they finished talking, my post was already out. It was quite funny. So it was basically my summary. You see 2 lines blank, 2 lines blank, 2 lines blank. It's easy to read, especially on the mobile. The screenshot here is from a desktop. So on the smartphone, it might be 3 lines each, but that is very good with empty lines. If I would not add the empty lines between points 1 and 7, it looks like a big block like the writers from past centuries like Franz Kafka would do. Nobody reads that. And I add an image, and the photo here is basically a photo out of a real life situation when Graham Hawkins has been sitting with Dan talking about HubSpot and the future of sales. The good thing is when we write something combining, we observe something somewhere, and we add it like an event, then it even helped back then me to gain new connections from each and every place. Very good. So how can you do this in day-to-day life? Let me show an example again from Advantage Austria, where we have Ulrike. And she just went at that time, that actually is a selfie from a National Roads and Traffic Conference. It's not meant to be perfect. Karen would say the shadow in the faces are maybe not as good, but you can see the passion that they have, the excitement of attending this. That is exactly what should come over. And there are 3 lines that and the last words on the 3rd line called "see more," she wrote it in a way that people want to click on it. It says, "We are exploring opportunities for Austrian companies in Sydney, which in 24 will," what is happening in 24? I want to know, therefore I need to click on it. 50 likes, which 60 actually, myself and 60 others. It's good, and I captured it when there was only 1 comment. So that is a bread and butter post, 3,000 characters, up to 500 words. We can add the link to external content, obviously, but LinkedIn, who only had 200 words in the past on it, is now much nicer with the 3,000 characters. It's really, really good. There's of course also LinkedIn articles, which have more images, but from a visual point of view, ensure that the first 3 lines are written in a way that your readers want to click on "see more." At the end, there need to be a call to action or call to think. And if you don't want to take a photo like here, but you follow what Jolanta is doing occasionally, to create an image which itself has a message or a call to action, that's even better. So why are we doing this? We can show our expertise by adding more points to a topic coming from different angles, and that's we can get reactions. Just a normal post without that images is a bit difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. So you heard the words. An image says more than 1,000 words, but you might not need that many at all. Let me show you how you can apply visual excellence without an image. But then we need to craft our message very well. Here's Justin Welch. He just hit more than 500,000 followers. That's quite a lot. And he is using particular empty lines. I mentioned it's 3 lines that we need to have, and then comes a "see more." Without a photo, it's 5 lines. He used the 5 lines wisely. Lines 2 and lines 4 are empty. Want to build a massive following on LinkedIn and make some extra cash? Here is your 7-step plan, emoji arrow down. Who doesn't want to click on "see more"? Highly obvious. So, post with photos show "see more." Post without photos show 5 lines. You write an enticing begin to make people curious. You only use few emojis, don't overload. It's not Instagram, so at least do it that way and use write simple language. That's what's needed. And then you can become a storyteller in KISS fashion. So keep it simple and stupid. So that's what you can do when you only write text. And you can add something else, what I tried earlier today, and I didn't even point to it. Sorry for this. So let me take again Karen's 5 tips. I grabbed them from the document, but I wrote them in a way, as you can see, it starts 1 to 5 is below each other, but then the lines are getting larger. They're getting longer. That's on purpose. You can create it this way to build something, to say piece by piece, and piece it gets bigger. Alternatively, you can write it exactly the other way around, from something long, as if you would like to come down to the essence of something. And if you watch on LinkedIn, there's some content creator, they are there who are very good at that. I personally like this, to play with the shapes of text. That adds another visual component that's normally not so visible. But the biggest thing that I would say, the biggest advantage of using visuals on LinkedIn and the method is by using document. So here, 3 lines. I ask consistency in practice. This is what I learned from posting 250 weeks in a row about the same topic. The 3rd line only has the arrow down. I would say it got quite nice number of impressions. That was in, I think, October timeframe. By the way, it shows me sitting here with a typewriter in green. But you would need to really look carefully and make it a bit larger to see that this is not a real one. It's a Lego typewriter. It was really nice. Really enjoyed that. And I got also a range of nice comments and likes. So that's one way. It is document. People call it a carousel, but technically it's a document. Basically a multi-page document to visualize the content. Here's the end part of the same thing, same post, same numbers and everything. And I have basically a beginning title. Then I have something in between. And then I have at the end the call to action slide, which says, find more about this in my book. This book here, order a signed copy on that link. So, and in between, I think it was a 12-pager. There were thoughts about consistency, what I wrote there. So you can create this in Canva or PowerPoint or Photoshop, whatever you want. Upload as a PDF. The typical format that companies use is in a square form because they use it on Instagram. But content creators here on LinkedIn, they use it optimized for the mobile phone. For smartphones, this means it's 5 by 4. It's a bit taller than wide, typically 1350 by 1050 pixels. But whatever it is, there are templates in it inside of Canva, which work quite well. And I covered that in the last webinar in August. The only thing we need to ensure that we can read it well. That don't upload an ordinary landscape PowerPoint from a corporate presentation. Nobody can read that. So it needs to be visible and using images wherever you can. The only thing, the woman showing my photos with the lovely t-shirt, unfortunately, the shirt doesn't exist. You need to create it one day. So of course, it's not real. And the beauty is with using images, you can show your expertise to a broader community because you do not need to click on see more to see the main thing of your message. It's basically combining words and images together and you have it. And the benefit and the numbers show higher visibility than normal posts. So, question from me. Do you have any questions, anyone? Any questions about visual excellence on LinkedIn? Please in the chat, or if you like, you can also unmute. Doesn't look like the case.
Can I add something?
Yeah, I can, sure.
I was just going to say, with the branding photos that you have, then you can also add them in your carousel. So that's another way where you can use your visuals in your carousels.
Yeah.
Besides using it on a banner and in a profile pic.
You can
That's just another idea if you guys are keen on doing carousels.
Yeah, that means if you would create something like this one here, using the same image that you have in your profile image, then it is a repeating pattern. People see that, and it's a bit larger compared to the one that I have on the top left. Yeah, that's good. It's a good way of using this. Thank you, Karen. So, but what can we do out of this? What are next steps? And I observed one thing here, and please tell me if I'm wrong on it, but I don't think too much. So, I observed particularly small businesses in not only in Australia or globally, they are very often overcautious about what's going on, and that is not necessarily good because it feels like the others are doing. I'm not so sure if I should. Maybe some have missing affinity with technology, not to underrate that, or they're not so clear what they can actually share. So that often is the challenge. Others feel more overwhelmed, and that, of course, is also a tricky thing, because it could be irrelevant content coming in the feed that might be only connected by strangers, and it's not really clear if you go through your feed where to start, because when we don't work on our behavior, what we like and what we comment, what hashtags to follow, then of course the feed can be totally irrelevant. So it's in our hand. LinkedIn is the newspaper and we are the editors. And the last thing is we might be overthinking. We might pause ourselves and think we need to be more perfect. And I'm Swiss German, so both have been both areas on it. And I know that perfection part, therefore I don't do too much video because I believe my setting here is not good enough. Light is not good enough, shadow not good enough. I should have a different room, whatever it is, if I don't do it. Instead of just starting. So video is the thing where I really struggle. But beyond that, I see that many are also unclear how to convert followers. That is often the trouble. And many are rather consuming content on LinkedIn. Mainly they're listening and they don't take too much action. So these are the things that I observe: overcautious, overwhelmed, and overthinking, which prevents many and gets others to take action further. So you should not be the one who's overthinking and being overwhelmed. So, and there are ways how I can help. And I did already over the last 3 years so many. So the first thing, I have an online course, which later made it into becoming the book. So it's goes in similar 4 type of topics to follow on the completing the profile, then finding out how to connect well with people, work on content, and how to convert. So that's all part of my LinkedIn course, which has 16 lessons, is ready to go and to really deep dive in it, where I show plenty of examples, like a longer version of this webinar in step-by-step form. The next one, what I do, and I'm happy that I could help some of you on the call here with this already, is to refresh the profile, to take it from a old or CV style of a LinkedIn presence into something more current, more visual expressing, and more updated, more relevant for your audience. So that's what I'm doing, maybe with 1 call together, maybe with 2, maybe with 3, to figure out until we are there. So it's two different versions for this one. And I also help individuals as also companies in working together in one-on-one fashion. I call it from profile to conversion because I can cover the whole journey, but I would mostly work individually one-on-one to figure out where my clients are at. Or sometimes I take a whole team to it. So I mentioned the Advantage Austria. We have done an activity together, and I've done it for a couple of other companies, not only in the tech sector. That's a good thing. What I like to do to train and deliver this to the whole teams. So that's basically what I'm doing, helping with the course, helping with the profile, and coach a little bit further up to, sometimes I've been tasked also to operate on behalf of someone like an agency. So then I will create content on behalf of them and post as them. That also works. And finally, what I have as well is this one. And that's the book where I took everything that I know together, social selling book called Connect and Act, and that covers exactly these 4 steps and get further on it. And I'm grateful that we have some here on the call, like Olin, who attended the book launch, which happened in May on my birthday, and some others who at least have the book. That's good as well. Like Yolanda, you have it, Karen, you have it, and I think Wayne, you just mentioned that you also have it. So thank you. Wayne, did you order the ebook, or did you order the paperback version?
No, I got the ebook this afternoon.
Good, good. Yes. And there's an interesting thing. In the ebook version, which is the Kindle typically, or whatever other ebook reader we have, there is one thing missing what the paperback has, and that is the layout. Because the layout of this book is based on having 42 double pages, and each of the double pages ending up with 4 tips on it. So that's a highly practical one when you do it. If you want to do the same thing with Kindle, it all depends on the layout of the screen. So therefore, everyone who buys the paperback, and also those who buy the Amazon version, they find a special link and a special code word somewhere to order the PDF version. Then you have the full layout to read it. It's meant to be. And I've seen that you did that. So then you got the PDF automatically as well. Then you have different versions how to read that. Yeah, so that's this one where I can help. And yeah, happy that also got an Amazon bestseller. I mean, most business books now get it these days, but I've been grateful that 5 of my books turned into an Amazon bestseller this year, and 3 books of them have been actually 4 years old, still selling. Awesome. But beyond that, beyond books, beyond courses, any question to you, from you, anything else? If not, I have one. I show you that, taking this or that approach. Who is committing to change the background image in whatever form? It doesn't need me, but I can help. But who would like to do and add and change theirs? Karen, you have done this here. Yolanta, you have done this here. Anyone else? Please let me know. I'm happy to assist. Yeah, Wayne. Because what I want to do here, and I didn't manage before, sorry, I want to add and create another slide where I just describe that's how you do, basically in a nutshell. You go to Canva, you find it here, that you do it here, and that way you would have that. I think that would be quite helpful. And I want to do it so that when you receive the slides by the email automation tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., it should be included. So I will add one. Thank you, Wayne. So then you will be able to leverage that one. And I also add maybe one slide about how to do these carousels. I take it from the August webinar and put it in there as well. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask. Any further question from anyone still on the call?
The Pakistani guy has got those rectangles on the LinkedIn background. Are they links or are they just things that he does?
Which one do you mean? You mean on the images?
What's his name?
Is it the
Ube.
one with the pink background?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
that one, yeah.
Are they links?
No.
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 Okay. No.
Technically, there is no link on that one. You can only have links here. When you click on him, you see the contact info.
Oh.
There behind you can place your links. And
Right.
you also see he has here in blue LinkedIn Banners Library. That's the
Right.
newer way how LinkedIn allows you to customize a link. So instead of www. something, he named it LinkedIn Banners Library, which looks good. And I will
Wow.
actually I can add that. I think he says it he has it for free, I think. So that you can get inspiration from this. So I will add the link somewhere there. That's a good one, but you cannot really take the banner as an exactly precise place where to click on it. LinkedIn is not that far.
Okay. Or you don't out of the app anyway.
Yeah, but thank you also, Tom, for what you just mentioned. That's good before launch to play on this one, and let me know. I'm happy to help you and get some kind of ideas. I'm happy to play that one. Karen, any closing words from your side as well?
I was just going to say that I understand that some people have the perception that photography is expensive, so that's why I'm offering like a group photo session where you can have individual photos done. So all you need to do is just to book in your time slot in the link in the chat here. I'll just post it again, and then you can get 2 individual photos for $99.
That's actually good, nicely
So
affordable.
you get to meet at a central location in Sydney, and you just come at your time slot.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's good. And you will also have it on your website, and you have a dedicated link for that one.
I think I'll just I'm happy to post the link again.
Yeah, I will add it also in the email that you have. Yeah, because I
Okay.
strongly believe when we have these 7 seconds or less to get an idea of how the person looks like, it actually doesn't matter too much how the person looks like, but in the way how they are presented, that makes a difference. And that shows, that gives a perception about how the work might be. And that exactly is the point. Perception. So if you see, for example, the photos here from the gentleman on the left-hand side, he looks quite confident. And that's one of the very few photos which I would even accept having the arms in that position, which normally says, don't come close to me. But here he shows good confidence. That actually is more of a branding photo. For LinkedIn itself, you only take the head. But I think it's a good approach, particularly when you take some more pictures in one session. So that's quite good. But the good thing on visuals on LinkedIn is our freedom. It's our creativity. We can play with anything what we like. If you work for a company and there are certain rules, we need to comply, of course, but even then we can. We can even do this in the best possible way. So that's all what I wanted to share for today. And we are even 7 minutes before the hour. So then thank you everyone for joining. Karen, also for your contribution, appreciate. So that was very nice.
Thank you.
And I wish all of you a happy festive season. And not forget, it's a time when many small business also think about what else they can do when it comes to their own LinkedIn. There will be a bit less traffic, there will be a bit less posting, but those who do, they get the attention. So it's totally worth to consider from 28th to 30th or the first week of January to really get into the next stage. And I do hope, Wayne, that you take something from the book as well.
I sure will. Thanks very much, Gunnar. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gunnar. See you on Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you, Gunnar. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, bye.